Stay with me until the very end of this story, because what I have to say in the conclusion might completely shock you and make you look at this entire situation in a way you never expected. This is not just another celebrity headline, not just another piece of Hollywood gossip. It's a story about love, loyalty, heartbreak, and the painful realization that even the strongest seeming couples may not withstand the storms of life. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned, because this unfolding chapter in the lives of two global icons will keep you glued to the screen. And trust me, you will want to hear what I have to say at the end. For nearly 2 decades, Nicole Kidman and they appeared to be living proof that two stars, each with their own demanding careers and global fame, could still create a stable family life rooted in trust and togetherness. But as of September 29th, everything changed. The world woke up to the stunning news that Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban have separated after 19 years of marriage. And if you think this was a decision they both wanted, think again. According to exclusive reports, Nicole Kidman did not want this split. She fought to save the marriage, to hold on to the life they had built, to protect not just her husband, but her family. It wasn't enough. A source close to the Kidman family revealed that her sister has been an unshakable rock during this time, while the entire Kidman clan has rallied around her, showing that no matter how high someone may rise in fame, at the core of it all, family becomes the ultimate refuge when love falters. But how did it come to this? How did a romance that began with so much passion, a marriage that endured challenges, and a couple that inspired millions reach a breaking point after nearly 2 decades together? To understand the weight of this moment, we need to go back to where it all began. It was 2005. Nicole Kidman, already one of the most respected actresses in the world, and Keith Urban, a rising force in country music, met at a glamorous gala. Sparks ignited almost instantly. A year later, they were married. Their love story seemed destined, as if written in the stars. In 2008, they welcomed their first daughter, Sunday Rose, and in 2010, their second daughter, Faith Margaret. To outsiders, they were a picture-perfect family, balancing Hollywood prestige with country music soul, splitting their time between the dazzling world of fame and the quiet comforts of home. At the very start of their marriage, Keith Urban relapsed into his battles with addiction. Imagine this. 4 months into a brand new marriage, while Nicole was away filming, Keith's demons resurfaced. Nicole, instead of turning away, instead of choosing the easy road, staged an intervention. She chose to fight for him, for their love, for the life they could have together. Urban himself has spoken openly about that period, saying at the AFI Life Achievement Award Gala just last year that if anyone wanted to see what true love looks like in action, they should look at Nicole. She pushed past every doubt, every fear, even her own internal voices that might have told her to leave, and instead chose love. Urban entered rehab, and for 3 months, Nicole stood by his side, even though their marriage was only 4 months old. He later admitted he had no idea whether their marriage would survive. But survive it did. That act of unconditional love seemed to define their relationship. By 2007, they had chosen to settle in Nashville, Tennessee, far from the relentless noise of Hollywood, seeking a quieter, more grounded life. Keith Urban once said that they didn't want to live in a compound, that they wanted to be surrounded by real people. They craved normalcy. They craved a family life that felt genuine. Years later, Nicole reflected on what made their bond so strong. In 2018, she revealed that the secret to their marriage was never forgetting to ask, "Does this work for us?" She emphasized that marriage wasn't about individuals. It was about the us they created together. The love story only deepened as she recalled their first date, a ride on Keith's motorbike to Woodstock, a moment she described as being utterly perfect for her. And then there was that unforgettable birthday in New York when Keith stood outside her stoop at 5 a.m. It was that simple yet profound gesture that convinced Nicole this was the man she wanted to marry. She later said she knew by then he was the love of her life. Over the years, Nicole and Keith spoke candidly about their marriage, never shying away from admitting it wasn't always perfect. Nicole said they constantly worked through challenges, but always with love at the center. She wanted Keith to have the best life possible, and he responded in the same way. Their secret, she once said, was that they had no secrets. That, along with a lot of fun, humility, and the joy of raising their daughters, kept them bonded. Keith Urban echoed those sentiments, calling their marriage not life-changing, but life-beginning. He described Nicole as the woman he had been searching for his whole life. To him, she wasn't just a partner. She was the one. In 2024, he even gave a powerful speech during Nicole's AFI Life Achievement Award, highlighting her mantra, "Choose love." He said he had watched her live by that principle time and time again, navigating some of the most complex situations with unshakable grace. And yet, despite all of this, the speeches, the devotion, the endless public declarations of love, September 29th, 2025, brought a reality no one wanted to believe. Their love story, at least as a marriage, has come to an end. Nicole Kidman, now 58, had only months ago called Keith Urban her deep, deep love. She had celebrated the way he still surprised her with dates, keeping their romance alive after nearly 20 years. She even joked about the double-headed shower being one of the keys to a successful marriage. But now, all of those memories hang in the air, like bittersweet reminders of what once was. What does this mean for Nicole Kidman, for Keith Urban, and for the daughters they raised together? What does it mean for fans who believe, and perhaps most haunting of all, what really happened behind closed doors that led to this devastating decision? Stay with me, because at the end of this report, I will give you my perspective on this entire situation. It's a take that may surprise you, and it may even make you rethink everything you thought you knew about Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's relationship. But for now, remember to subscribe, because this story is only just beginning to unfold, and you won't want to miss what comes next. Now that we have carefully walked through every detail of this story, every chapter of a love that seemed eternal, but ultimately reached its breaking point, it's time for me to share my perspective. And I need you to stay with me here, because what I am about to say may not be what you expect. For years, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban have been placed on a pedestal as the symbol of what true, lasting love looks like in a world dominated by quick divorces, temporary romances, and fragile commitments. People looked at them as proof that even under the blinding lights of fame, two individuals could build something real, something sacred, and for 19 years, they did. But here is where I want to challenge the narrative we so often tell ourselves. We like to believe in fairy tales. We like to imagine that if two people love each other enough, if they sacrifice enough, if they keep choosing each other every day, they will survive any storm. Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban did all of those things. She staged interventions to save him from his demons. He proclaimed her as the love of his life, time and time again. They created a family, built a home, and openly celebrated their bond. They did everything that the storybooks and relationship guides say you should do. And yet, here we are. Their marriage is over. So what does that tell us? To me, it reveals a hard truth that many don't want to accept. Love alone is not always enough. Commitment, faith, forgiveness, sacrifice, they matter deeply. But sometimes even all of that cannot protect two people from the natural drift of life. People change, circumstances shift, and the same passion that brings two people together can, after nearly 2 decades, begin to fade or fracture under pressures the public never sees. It's important to recognize something else too. When we look at celebrities, we forget that they are human. Nicole Kidman is not just an Oscar-winning actress. Keith Urban is not just a global music icon. They are people, flawed, fragile, and vulnerable. Their wealth and fame don't buy them immunity from heartbreak. In fact, in many ways, their fame magnifies it, because every private struggle becomes a headline, every argument becomes a speculation, and every moment of silence becomes a rumor. Imagine trying to hold a marriage together under that kind of constant scrutiny. It is no small wonder that so many celebrity unions collapse under the weight of it. But here's the part that truly stands out to me. Nicole Kidman did not want this. She fought to save the marriage, and that tells me something about her character that should not be overlooked. In a world where people often walk away at the first sign of discomfort, Nicole stood and fought until the very end. She believed in the promise she had made nearly 20 years ago. And while that fight did not save the marriage, it shows a depth of loyalty and determination that deserves respect. Keith Urban, too, deserves acknowledgement here. For years, he has been candid about his struggles, his mistakes, and his gratitude toward Nicole for standing by him. Their marriage gave him stability at times when his career and his personal life could have crumbled. He has described her as the one he had been searching for his whole life. And maybe, just maybe, she still is. Because love doesn't always end when a marriage ends. The 19 years that Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban spent together were not wasted. They built a life, they raised children, they supported one another, and they loved with a depth most people will never experience. For me, this story isn't about failure. It's about reality. It's about the courage to fight for love, and the courage to face the pain when that fight doesn't succeed. And it's about two people who, despite their separation, will always remain a part of each other's stories. And maybe that's the lesson we should all take with us. Don't chase the illusion of perfect love. Don't believe that there is one secret formula that guarantees forever. Instead, cherish the love you have while you have it. Fight for it, nurture it, protect it. But also understand that sometimes, despite everything, love transforms into something different. And that doesn't make it any less real, any less meaningful, or any less beautiful. That is my take. And perhaps it is not the happily ever after people wanted, but it is the truth. And sometimes, the truth is far more powerful than the fairy tale.